Hello and welcome back to Ultima's IT Alchemist series focused on my periodic table of hybrid infrastructure technology. My name is Matt Hudson and you're joining me here today in my lab and we'll be looking at Cisco Umbrella. This technology sits within our security stack in our periodic table and replaces the element Krypton, atomic number 36, which is of course Superman's least favorite element. Okay, firstly, let's start with another chemistry Krypton joke. Noble gases jokes are rubbish. I never get a reaction from them. And onto Cisco Umbrella. So Umbrella is a cloud-delivered endpoint security product. And just like Krypton, most of the time you would not even know it's there. It provides three key functions amongst a few others. Number one, and what it's most renowned for, is DNS Based Security. Number two is Secure Web Gateway with threat intelligence. And number three is CASB, or Cloud Access Security Broker. Although not officially part of the Umbrella core product, it is part of CloudLock, which is part of the wider Umbrella suite. So let's drill down into these features, what it means for your business, the security profile of your IT estate. And we'll start off with the DNS-based security, which you may not be familiar with Cisco Umbrella, but what you will be familiar with and what you might have heard about previously is OpenDNS. Well, OpenDNS was purchased by Cisco back in 2015, and that really became the building blocks of what is now Umbrella. So let's start with number one, the DNS-based security. What does this mean and how does it affect your business? So if you look at internet fundamentals, you go to a website, you type in www.ultima.com, or you go to Google and type in best IT provider in the UK, and it comes up with ultima.com. You then click on that link, and it goes ahead and passes, does a request on the DNS or DNS IP address for that site. So the DNS address is ultima.com. It will then go away and say, actually, the IP address is 83.72.12.183. Now, that service is pretty standard. It happens across the entire internet. Problem is that time you've gone into Google, that time you've clicked on a link, if that link is bad or that site you're connecting to is bad, the DNS service has no idea of knowing that. It just passes you the result and then you get transported to that area. Now, what DNS security does is it intercepts that request. So it says, right, you've asked for ultima.com. I'm going to go and check out this site for you to make sure it's legit. I'm going to make sure that it's a good website. It's not listed on known bad websites. It's not listed. It's not a brand new website that's been spun up in the last few hours on AWS to try and steal people's details. It's not a phishing attack, a known spear phishing attack, or whatever it might be. Or it's not a website which actually your company policies don't allow you to go onto, whether that might be gambling or whether it might be some of those other websites, if you know what I mean. So it goes and intercepts that and says, no, you're not going there because I think this is a spear phishing attack, and it stops that attack going through. So Cisco Umbrella stops those two things. One, people going to websites they shouldn't be going to, but also people accidentally going to websites which they think are legit, but actually are attacks or people acting badly and trying to steal details. So when you look at something like email scanning, where it picks up phishing attacks, it picks up most phishing attacks, but not all of them. The ones that get through, someone can click on that link and it takes them to a bad website. People don't know that it's not office.com, it's office364.com, and they put their details in and their credentials are stolen. It's nothing. There's no viruses there. It's just purely a grab of credentials, and it also stops things hitting or links being clicked on from other locations. So say you've got a corporate device and someone logs onto their personal email and that has a bad link in there. Now that clearly isn't under your email scanning policy, so it doesn't know whether it hasn't gone to that same level of corporate governance, but they have access to a personal email, they're clicking the link in there, and this works exactly the same. It's on the corporate device on the laptop. It will then intercept that link, check it out, and they say, actually, sorry, this is a bad website. I'm not going to take you there. So it's super cool stuff. So number two is that web secure gateway. So very similar to the first one. It kind of goes hand in hand with the first part of the product. So it is, but it's more of that traditional style proxy-based service. So it will log a URL. It knows where people are going, what websites are going to. It knows provide real-time reporting on those things as well. So it knows at times of days where people are going to, how they're interacting with websites, how long they're spending on websites. It inspects file downloads. It provides sandboxing. and kind of blocks traffic as well. It can even look inside of SSL traffic by decrypting it and inspecting it on the go. But in reality, it's kind of that old school proxy where it'll do app control and content control and allow you to block access to certain types of applications, or those websites which I spoke about earlier. And last but not least is CASB. So what you have here is a slightly different but similar approach to cloud endpoint protection. Essentially, it's a product called CloudLock, which is now part of the Umbrella family. And depending on how you license your Umbrella, you may or may not get some of the components that I speak about in this section. So it does two things. Firstly, allows you to apply security policies to endpoints to ensure they adhere to certain compliance models like PCI DSS or HIPAA, and essentially a kind of DLP type product. Secondly, is an API-driven security broker, so a product that integrate with those SaaS products like Salesforce or Office 365 or Dropbox. And but the really cool thing is when those two things come together. And let me try and explain. So when you have a certain information like credit card details that are in a secure CRM system or secure platform, and that may be in a SaaS provider now, it could be on-prem. Or it could be some proprietary data that you don't want to get out, or you don't want to be in the wrong location. You can set policies on endpoints that are unable to move this data between different systems. So even if they are not even your own systems like ServiceNow or Salesforce. So this means that data can accidentally end up in the wrong place, even with people who are allowed access to that data. This is the kind of same level of security compliance systems make sure that data in one level of security doesn't leak down into a system that has a different level of security, despite the fact the user has access to both of those systems. So in essence, it stops data ending up in the wrong hands. An example of this, if you have kind of agents that has access to credit card details, they go away trying to be helpful, they send some information to another user in your organization via email who doesn't have access to that data and doesn't have access to that system. Now, it seems innocent, they might be trying to help, it's bad practice, but not necessarily malicious. But as soon as that data, that credit card detail, leaves that compliance system that's under the governance and controls of that and gets pasted into Office 365, at that point, there's no controls or potentially no controls, depending on your policies there. And that data can then be in an email system, which can then leak into Word documents and who knows where else. So this really does control data between SaaS applications and third-party systems to make sure that data cannot end up in the wrong place. So the question you're asking now, I'm sure, is how do I buy Cisco Umbrella? Well, there's really two ways of doing it. One, you can either buy it via a subscription model. You can buy the software on a per user basis and you pay for that as a license. You then deploy it yourself or get someone like Ultima to help you deploy it. And then you manage it going forward and control all the policies, control all the rollout, control updates and to the back end policy control and governance model. Or you can buy it as an MSP play, so a managed service play. So you can get someone like Ultima who can deploy it for you, who can manage the policies for you, manage the exceptions for you, and also provide a license as part of that cost. So both of those are paid per month on a kind of per user model. One is manage it yourself and one is get someone to manage it for you. So I thought I'd just sum up now with kind of the 5 reasons why, well, that Cisco say why you should buy Umbrella and what its key selling areas are. So firstly, simplified management. There is no hardware to deploy. It's software or agent based, and these agents don't require constant updates like antivirus agents. They're all cloud managed and cloud, and the cloud part is what provides the intelligence around the service. So it's not a case of having to keep these things up to date and manage it and patch it like you would an antivirus service. It does mean that you can kind of deploy it and not so much forget about the configuration, but forget about the endpoint stuff. Second bit is there's huge power and scale. So to give some indication, there are about 620 billion requests per day at last count. There are about 60,000 new malicious destinations blocked every single day. So websites that are known to be bad, new ones of those are blocked. Little temporary websites spin up in AWS or in Azure or Google are stopped and secured every single day. And then you've got the Talos-driven technology, which is blocking about 20 million threats every single day for the customers of Umbrella. Number 3 is you get easy reporting. So you get you show your top blocking requests. It shows the trends of the users, top websites visited, topics, and it's all really easy consumable via the SaaS product as well. 4 is a SaaS deployment. So it's really simple base deployment. You buy it, you turn it on, and within 10 minutes, you can be deploying the proxy services and the basic security for DNS around all of your websites, all of your web users around the world. And then finally, number 5 is, which is I think is a really key one when we get into the world of security and security analytics, the intelligence that Cisco Umbrella has in it is able to help you understand and provide faster resolutions for when security incidents do happen, and they will happen regardless of what technologies that you have in place. So it will help you understand stuff that's blocked, stuff that wasn't blocked when it does actually end up getting through, and will help you diagnose those breaches quicker and help you get to the root cause analysis of how things have got into your system and ways that it got in. So it's a really good way of understanding not only stopping things happening, but also once they do happen, which unfortunately in the world we're in, they will happen, be able to then mitigate them and understand how it's happened very much quicker. So let me know, or let Ultima know if you want to demo this or want to talk in more detail, and hope you join me next time for the next installment of the IT Alchemist.